Hello, hi guys, welcome to my channel, Brush It Up. In today's vlog, we are going to Singapore. So, this is going to be a travel vlog. I went to Singapore in the month of March 2025 and I landed there in almost it was evening. So, after I landed, I decided that I want to go and eat, and I was staying in this hostel which was near Little India, and this is the Mustafa Center that is there. It's very famous. Recently, a very famous YouTuber, I don't recall her name, she also went there. So I just wanted to see what the center was about, and yeah, you find everything here. I needed a couple of very essential things like a tripod and a power bank. So I went there and got that on my first day. And since it was evening, I just ate my dinner, went there, bought the essential things that was supposed to be that I needed, and this is the area that I was staying in. You can see it was quite a nice area, and it had like the old Singaporean row houses charm. So it was very beautiful. And first day, I wanted to go and see the Merlion, the quintessential, the landscape of Singapore. That's the Marina Sande area. So that is where I went on my first day, because I wanted to feel as if okay, fine, I've reached Singapore. And whenever I did research for going to Singapore, this is the visual that I had in my mind. So for the first essential thing for my mind to understand that okay, we have reached this place, it was very crucial for me to come here on the first day. And this is me. Yeah, it was quite humid, it rained, and but I really enjoyed it. Humidity and the temperature that Singapore has is quite similar to what we experience in Mumbai. It's just that in Mumbai we don't experience rains throughout the year, but the humidity definitely it's same. And it's better in Singapore because once it rains, the temperature goes down a bit and it becomes a little bit cooler. So I went there, then I went after Marina Bay Sands. I went to Gardens by the Bay, and I'm a huge I in my daily life, I love gardening and I love botany. So not that I've studied botany, but I am into seeds, and I'm into reading what are the good plants to grow in which season and all of that. If you love like nature and botany and gardening, then the Gardens by the Bay is the best place that you can go to. And any which ways, Garden by the Bay is a really nice place to go. It has this massive different species of plants that in like in the same vicinity you will find different types of plants, and it's amazing. And that's the building that's always in the landscape of Marina Bay Sands. And it is the one where you get the entire view of Singapore. That's the building. And as you can see that Gardens by the Bay. Those trees that you can see in Gardens by the Bay are the most iconic trees of this thing. So the logic behind it is they are artificial trees, and that they have first constructed through metals and wires, and later on they have planted trees, vertical trees on that metal structure, and eventually in like 50 years or 100 years down the line, it's going to be entirely covered by those trees. And it will then be like a tree that was completely like constructed by a like man-made structure kind of thing. As you can see, they have planted different types of plants on the vertical structure. So it's very different. It's very like something very out of like you must know must not have seen it anywhere. And yeah, it's very beautiful. And the light show that happens in the night anywhere in Singapore, there is some other show, light show happening. Marina Bay Sands has its own. Then Gardens by the Bay has its own light show that I saw on the first day. And it was really beautiful, especially it came with sound and everything. And I didn't know it had a light show, but it so happened that I wanted to go to Marina Bay Sands for the light show, and then I got to know that this place also has a light show, and I was like, okay, fine. Then I'm gonna do this, and then I'm going to do that. And it had like 15 minutes of difference between them, and I couldn't reach there. I did see it, but not on my first day. So on my first day, I just saw this, and it was amazing. It was really, really beautiful. You should definitely do this place. And then, if you get to do the light show anywhere in Singapore, if you are there, there is some other light show that is happening. So definitely go check wherever you are. Is there a light show that happens during the evening? This place in Gardens by the Bay, it happens around 7:45, and at 8:15 it happens at Marina Bay Sands. At least that was the timing back in the month of March. And yeah, it is so beautiful. If you can see those twinkling lights. And there is another view that you can get, is that there is one bridge that goes at which is at elevation, and you can get a pass for that bridge and then see this light show from an elevated height. And people prefer to do that as well, but I thought it's a bit expensive, and I barely knew about it, and it was a very last moment thing. And next day I went to Universal, and I always wanted to go to Universal. But the thing is that I had so much fun in Universal Studios. I haven't shot anything at Universal Studios. This is the only footage that I had of Universal Studios, because I'm a big roller coaster person, and you cannot and I also had company, so I was so having fun with my friend. And I went solo, by the way, to Singapore, and then I made a friend, and I really had a good time with them. So, and next day, I went to Jewel Changi. So when since I landed in the evening, I couldn't see Jewel Changi Airport, and Jewel Changi Airport is also one of the best attractions. So Jewel is a mall, and it's adjacent to the airport. So it is accessible from the airport, and as well as you can go there even if you're not taking a flight. Still you can go to Jewel Changi, and it is also a major attraction of Singapore. So I went there, and on this day I had a little bit of work, so I didn't plan much. And since I was there for 7 days, usually people do 4 to 5 days in Singapore, and 7 days is also, I feel, is sufficient. I won't say it is a lot or something like that, because then you can do things at your own pace. Like on this day, I was a bit tired. I had some work to do. I had a meeting to attend. So I just decided to do Jewel Changi on that day, and we did that netted this thing. There's one net that you get to walk on, and it is elevated at a certain height, and it's basically a transparent kind of thing. And I did that. It was quite fun. And this particular waterfall is something that I have manifested. Back in COVID, I was just sketching some architectural places, and this waterfall came, and I sketched this, and then in my mind I thought I'm gonna go here someday. And yeah, it took quite some time. It took 5 years almost to reach here, but I did that. And when I was here, I just remember that moment when I was sketching this waterfall back in my house, where from which we had shifted. And my life was so different back then. and now it's changed for the better. So yeah, and I really enjoyed again. Since in Singapore, land is not sufficient. They have honed this technique of growing plant indoors, and it's just amazing. People say that it gives a Jurassic Park kind of vibe, and I can see that. Also, one thing that I would like to point out is Singapore is so safe, so clean, and the transport, like the connectivity, the public transport in Singapore is amazing. Like if I would be at a bus stop and I took this MRT pass, which you can use to take the local transport of train and buses. If you see in your Google Maps, if it shows that there's going to be a bus at 9:05 at this bus stop, then the bus would arrive at 9:05 exactly. And if you want to go from place A like one place, destination A to for example, if you want to travel from point A to point B, then in that case you don't need to ask anything. You just put it in your Google Maps and it will take you exactly to that place. I'm not saying Google Maps doesn't do that in other places. It does do that, but it will also take you to the wrong place, and it's not that accurate as accurate it is in Singapore. It is so accurate in Singapore, and everything, whatever if you see anything that's written, if you see anything that is being described, it holds true to the to the T. Like it is exactly what is being said, and it is exactly like it's no, nothing is exaggerated. It is so like it's amazing. What I liked about Singapore is the public transport and the way they say, okay, fine, there's gonna be bus at 9:05. There will be a bus at 9:05 on the bus stop. Like it is like it is so, you know how difficult it is to like be so accurate about buses, like hundreds of buses that are running, and to be so accurate about trains. That kind of accuracy, just I'm just so amazed by that. And I felt safe throughout. I didn't see a single in police anywhere, but still I felt so safe, and people were just like abiding by the law. And people weren't being watched, or people weren't being monitored, I mean, not by an actual physical person, since even after that they were following the rules, they were doing what they're supposed to do. So that is really nice to experience, especially coming from a country where even if there is so much of policing, you see that people are always like stepping out of the line, not abiding by the law. So I was really impressed when it comes to that in Singapore. And see, even in Changi, there is a light show that happens in the night. So wherever you are, there will be some or the other light show that is happening. So be there, and just make sure that you don't miss on any light show that happens in the place that you're visiting. And yeah, I did Jewel on the third day. And then so by third day I was done with Universal, I was done with Jewel, I was done with Marina Bay Sands, I was done with Gardens by the Bay, and then came Botanical Gardens. So the next clip is going to be about Botanical Gardens. It was such like it gave me like feels of Central Park, though I've never been to Central Park, but what Central Park would be in my mind, that is what I felt in this place. And in this place is also famous for, studying studies of botany. There is a museum here where you can see that Singapore was famous back when it was colonized. They did a lot of study of about botany here because this is a good climate, right? It rains 365 days here. It's tropical, and it also needs that understanding of how to grow plants because the land is not sufficient. So it's most ideal for it, and it surprises me that wherever I travel, now that I've been to a lot of places outside India, but whatever places that I've been to, the mark of colonization is there everywhere. Like you can see that how they preferred to do what was favorable to them, and the Britishers, they have colonized almost each and every places. Europeans, you know let's use the term Europeans instead of Britishers. They colonized and they have left their mark everywhere. One thing I didn't like found missing in Singapore is the old architectural buildings. Like for example, everywhere you travel you will find like a building which is 100-year old, and that is not there in Singapore. I mean, there are temples which are quite old, there are some small buildings, but talking about like a massive, huge, gigantic architectural piece which is very embedded in the culture, which is embedded to the cultural people of that land. It is not European, and even if it is European, it's fine. But it's quite old. That is not something that I saw when I was traveling to Singapore. If anybody knows about such an architectural structure that I missed, please mention that in the comment section below. So these were botanical gardens. Again, I love nature. I love trees, and I like to see and experience different forms of plants, and it is so natural that I am at peace. It feels like I'm home, when I'm among such places, when I'm in nature, I feel so much at home. And that's the thing. Then this is all curated, right? This is man-made. The entire garden is man-made, so it is highly curated. So experiencing this and experiencing nature in its raw form is very different. This has its own beauty, and experiencing nature in its rawest form, like experiencing a walk in forest and experiencing a walk in a garden, those two are very different. And you never come across a structure where such a huge piece of land has been dedicated to building gardens, building nature. That's just fascinating to me. And it shows that how much Singapore believes in climate change, how much they believe in preserving the environment, preserving the nature, how much they believe in that. And that just any piece, any city that's developed, it really shows when they have like massive gardens. It shows that they believe they how much nature, how much of an important role nature plays in daily life. And I saw that there were many local folks who come here to do like yoga or something like that. So if you go here in the morning, I saw a couple of aunties who were just discussing that, okay, fine, now we're going home. Then where will you go after this? And they were like, so it's their routine to come here and do some kind of like, morning physical activity session. So yeah, and if you are here with kids, I feel kids should be exposed to such places to understand that you know uh, it's not the man the most powerful creature. Who It's not the man who holds so much power. It's the nature. It's yeah, it's Mother Earth. It is so much importance to give. So much importance has to be given to the environment that we rely on. And we can curate that in any way. For example, we can conserve forest, or we can make gardens. There are so many ways of going about it, and to study nature is also a very crucial part. I feel sometimes that instead of teaching trigonometry in school, if we connect our kids with the element of nature, won't that be more beneficial? Just a random thought that popped in my mind. Anyways, so there are many places to see in botanical garden. There is one butterfly garden, I feel. Then there is a museum. Then the botanical gardens, different pockets itself. All of that you can see. This is a wall that moves on itself by the current of water that is flowing, and this piece of architecture was gifted by Swiss people to Singapore. And so yeah, it's quite nice. Then next, this thing is clip is going to be about all those museums that are there, which shows how much Singapore had invested in the study of botany, and study of plants and trees. So this is that museum, origins of Singapore. And this all this came because Britishers were keen on it. Britishers wanted them, Britishers or whatever, whichever people colonized them, like which I don't know whether they were French, whether they were Europeans, or who they were. Some or the other Europeans who colonized Singapore. They were keen on pushing them to get into botany and to invest in botany. So yeah, in those days, since I don't know whether photo camera was invented or not, many studies were done by drawing those by sketching out the plants to identify them, to preserve them. So you will find a lot of sketches of like the way they studied a plant was by sketching, by making drawings of that particular plant, by sketching out that particular plant. So yeah, that's how, and that those types of sketches and those type of botany, those drawings that are specific to botany study, did not only influenced the field of botany, but also it has also influenced the field of art. And it's now a specific genre of like art, where you go into the detail of like sketching out a piece of plant or flower or leaf, and you go into the details and depths of it. So that's quite beautiful. Then from here, I went to Sentosa, and at Sentosa, I went to this aquarium, and the most like the most impactful experience that I had in Singapore so far was going to this aquarium. And it's so big that they called it Oceanarium. Oceanarium. So the Singapore Oceanarium. It's in Sentosa, and they also have this dolphin, this thing, and I wish I did that also, because recently I read about dolphins and I knew about dolphins, but then recently I've been coming up about a lot of dolphins kind of videos. I'm coming across a lot of information on dolphins. And I don't know, the next time when I'll get the chance, I will definitely do an activity which involves dolphin. But yeah, when I went to Oceanarium, it just blowed my mind. Like how much of life is there underwater, and of course you know about it. You know there is a huge uh, there's so much to be explored and to be seen and to be understood underwater, life that is there underwater. But when you go and see it firsthand, like those colors, like if you see the colors that this fish have, like the spectrum of colors, like it is so beautiful. It is so beautiful. I feel like nature is so beautiful now that I'm in a creative field, I don't think I can create anything that is as beautiful as nature itself. Like if I sometimes I feel, what can I make that will be this beautiful? You can never make anything that's more beautiful than what Mother Nature has created. I mean, look at it. Look at the colors. Just look at the colors. Then these are jellyfish, not jellyfish. I don't remember what they are called, but they were so beautiful. I had never seen them in aquariums that we have in India, and I was like, I was going crazy. Just look at that. That's a living organism. Do you understand life enough? Like, I have we do we know how beautiful and huge the life is? I mean, oh my God. Just look at this. Don't you feel that they have some kind of information that we don't have? And if we respect them enough, maybe we can get hold of that information as well. I mean, like, instead of making them our dinner, I know that people hunt this particular fish. I don't know their name. I'm gonna put that in the video down below. I saw a couple of videos and got to know people eat that. I mean, like, why? I feel like, man, humans have developed and they have this huge ego now, and they think that they can kill anything for just satisfying their taste buds. And they don't understand how beautiful this life form is, how meaningful this life form is. And you can survive by eating like eating anything, right? You can eat bread, you can eat fruits, and you are happy and you can go about your life. Why do you need to kill such beautiful creatures just so that your craving is satisfied? And in the first place, why do you have such cravings? And I felt so sad that people eat seafood. I felt so sad that I loved seafood for 21 years of my life, and I'm 29 now. And if somebody showed me this when I was a kid, showed me that how beautiful fish and underwater sea life is, I would never eat fish. Like, I would never in my life I would go and eat fish. I'm like, it is so necessary for kids to go to aquarium, museum, gardens, like to be exposed to this kind of information so that they can make their own decision. And I also felt bad that they are in an aquarium. I felt like, okay, I understand that this is such an amazing piece of experience that I'm getting, but I also understand how much of like, this experience itself is very complex, that it has its cons, where you should be underwater. If you want to see fish, bloody go underwater and see the fish. Why are you like creating a zoo kind of, or an aquarium kind of a space where they are not supposed to be living in such small spaces, right? They're supposed to be there in like a huge, massive sea, in ocean, going about their lives, just so that you know what a fish is, just so that you understand it, and just so that you it is convenient for you. You have put these creatures who are massive and beautiful in a cage, basically. It's I mean, aquarium is another form of cage for these sea creatures, and I feel like, just for your convenience, you can't be doing this. I feel even zoo is, I sometimes when I go to a zoo, I also feel even that is wrong to a certain extent. If you want to go and understand these creatures, you should go to their home. You can't be like putting them in a cage for your own entertainment's sake. And all of this, even though I loved this experience, I know like how much of a flawed this thing is. And it's not just to Singapore Oceanarium, it's just flawed in general. This entire idea of zoos and aquariums, I think it's flawed in its nature. Travel. And if you are in Sentosa, there is this mall in Sentosa where while taking the metro, you will come across this mall. This mall has a food court, and this food court has amazing, amazing Chinese food, authentic Chinese food. You should definitely go and have that. This is that Chinese place, and I hope you enjoyed this video. There's a part two where I go to many places, many other places in Singapore. So stay tuned, and thanks for watching.